They didn't ask me for any ID. I was telling the officer if I can give him the ID, but he said that just keep my hands up, not moving. And then after that, he told me to get out of the car, and then he put the handcuffs on me. And then he went to me and said, how did I get into this country? And if I was waiting for court or if I have any case. And I told him I was an American citizen. And he looked at his other partner like, you know, smiling, like saying, can you believe this guy? Because he asked the other guy, do you believe him?
Machado said he was uncuffed and immediately released after showing his driver's license. The two men with him were taken into custody. He does not know why. The incident has caused him to reflect.
Definitely, because like I say, I was Trump supporter. I voted for Trump last elections, but because I thought it was going to be the things, you know, like be pointless, like just go against criminals, not every illegal Hispanic looking like that they will assume we are illegals, you know.
So, do you think that's what they're doing now?
That's what they're doing now. They're just following Hispanic people looking like.
Immigration lawyers suggest that residents and citizens carry ID with them at all times.
This guy right here thought that his non-U.S. citizen wife was one of the good ones and now regrets that he voted for Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a love story about Bradley Bartell, a Trump supporter, and his wife Camila, who was just deported. This is a love story that began in a small town in Wisconsin. You see, these two lovebirds, they were just having a grand old time until the United States immigration policies caught up to them. They met through a mutual friend and had a first date at a local steakhouse. Married 2 years after that, and then they started to save up some money so that they could buy a house and perhaps have some kids. The love was so pure that Camila was taking care of Brad's 12-year-old son like it was her own. But last month, after Bradley and Camila were both returning from their honeymoon in Puerto Rico, the ICE agents rolled up on her and said, "Hey, we need to talk." "Are you an American citizen?" they asked. No, she said. "No, I'm not." She explained that she was from Peru, but she's not a problem because her and Brad had already started the paperwork process, you know, since they were in the process of getting married, and that she's okay in the United States. Despite the fact that they knew Camila had overstayed her visa, they both wore their wedding rings for the flight home, believing that the United States government knew that she had applied for her green card. They believed this wouldn't be a problem because guess what? She was vetted from the start, was getting a W-2, and paid her taxes. Before the agents led Camila away, she pulled off her wedding ring, afraid that they might confiscate it, and she shoved it into her backpack and handed it to Bradley. He looked at her, and he shook his head as she disappeared. He thought, what the F did I do? You see, what Camila and Bradley didn't understand, especially Bradley, is that when Donald Trump talked about doing these mass deportations, he had expanded it so that it also included immigrants whose application for legal status in this country was under review. Even those married or engaged to U.S. citizens are being detained. According to an immigration attorney, David Rozosk, anyone who isn't a legal permanent resident or a United States citizen is at risk, period. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a love story that involves a Trump supporter and his wife, who's from another country, who were on their way to being happily married until he went out and voted for her to be deported. Yeah, Bradley, what the F did you do?
Y'all, I just seen the video on TikTok. I don't know if y'all seen it yet or ran across it. It's a lady so sad, regretting that she voted MAGA. She talking about all it's about is hate, bigotry, racist, all this blah, 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 that everybody already knew what it was about anyway. She really said that it's affecting her now. Y'all didn't give a damn previously. Y'all still want to vote that way. So don't come here crying on the app. I really be laughing because the same people that voted the way they voted for Project 2025, watching themselves get affected by it, I laugh every day. Ha 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 ha. We gonna, the 92%, we gonna be all right. Y'all, we gonna be all right. Anything that ever happened to us in life, we always get through it. We can handle any adversity thrown at us, black people. We good. We good. But the people that voted that way and y'all thought it was coming to hurt us, but they pulled a Uno reverse on that ass, I love to see it.
So let me see if I got this right. The people who claim to be all about the freedom of speech, the people who claim to be pro-legal immigration, the people who claim to be anti-tyranny, those same people are cheering for the arrest of a legal immigrant who was exercising his freedom of speech and then was arrested by tyrants. These same people claim that the J6ers were political prisoners. People who directly, physically, violently attacked the United States of America. They claim that they were political prisoners. But the guy who hasn't even been charged with a crime, that guy, he deserves it. Oh, he totally deserves it. Not the J6ers, though. MAGA is good at two things: being completely full of shit and completely detached from reality. And neither one of those things makes America great.
When I watched the video of the incompetent, unqualified woman Donald Trump put in charge of the Department of Education on Fox News, saying with a smile on her face how proud she was to be getting rid of government funding for schools. Because let's be clear, this isn't going to affect wealthy private schools. This is going to affect poor schools in poor states, in poor cities, and poor neighborhoods. This is going to affect children whose only meal they get is the free meal they get at school. And then she goes on to try and trick people, which it works with MAGA and Republicans. They just buy into it with no fucking critical thought behind it. Talking about their test scores and their reading levels. Okay, so you're taking the money from it? We already have a very low, poor reading level. Teachers are already underpaid and overworked. So you're defunding it? MAGA. You aren't allowed to claim you're pro-life because you're not. It's bullshit. We've all known it's bullshit, and I'm done placating and pretending and trying to explain. It's bullshit. This administration is pure fucking evil. They're demons. Cutting funding from the VA. Do you know what the statistic is on self-unaliving for veterans? It's over 20 a day. A day. They're cutting funding from that. So you're not pro-life for children. You're not pro-life for veterans. Let's see. How about cancer research? How about pulling the funding from that? So you're not pro-life for people struggling with cancer. We already know you could give two fucks if women live or die. So you're not pro-life for women. So really, what are you pro-life for? I am absolutely disgusted.
So guess what, MAGA? I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, because actually, it took me a little while to think about this, but I work in the housing industry. These tariffs on wood, aluminum, and steel are going to impact you, even if you don't own a house. They're going to impact you even if you're not building a house or don't need to rebuild. And that is because insurance companies, when they underwrite policies, they have to anticipate what the cost might be if you get into a car accident, or if your apartment floods, or if your house burns down or gets hail on the roof, or whatever the case may be. And those underwriting decisions are based upon the cost of goods. So having a tariff on lumber, aluminum, and steel is going to raise your insurance. And it's going to raise it immediately because insurance companies aren't going to wait until you might get into an accident or some kind of, I don't know, storm in your home or apartment. They're going to raise them now. So, yeah. So these are the effects that MAGA doesn't think about when they're thinking about how things are going to impact them or other people. They're basically like, oh, this doesn't impact me. It does impact you. It impacts absolutely everybody, regardless of your political affiliation. And quite frankly, it's stupid. It's stupid because, number one, we do not have enough forestry to build and rebuild homes. We don't. Even if they were to take away our national parks or federal land and do that, we don't. And guess what? It may not even be the right type of lumber. The reason why we get lumber from Canada is because the colder the weather tends to be, the harder the woods tend to be. We don't want wood from Florida. We don't want that. Yeah. So that's why. And we would have to build lumber mills in the United States in order to support this, which we don't have. So this is like a decade-long project. In the meantime, it's going to cost everybody more. So yeah, when you say, is my life better today than it was just 2 months ago? No. Lives today are exponentially worse than they were 2 months ago. And they're going to stay worse for the next how many years? If these stay into place, a decade or more. Because it takes that long to get these things going. These are not short-term projects. These are not things that are going to even impact many of us ever, especially senior citizens who are relying on their 401ks or their IRAs to survive, which now have been cut by like 25, 30%. Yeah, so not only is it going to be more expensive for them to just survive and for everybody, but it will be more expensive for everybody to eat. It's more expensive for everybody to drive. If you need to buy a car, it's going to be more expensive to buy a car. It's going to put a halt on the housing industry because it's going to raise prices. Yeah. Great job, guys. Great job. Yeah. Make America great again. Yeah.
So the thing I keep thinking about is, was it worth it to be happy for a little bit, even though it ended up sad? Or would it have been better if the whole thing never happened?
Trying to muster up the I give a energy. So hold on a second.
The only heir to the throne is dead. Sorrows, prayers.